you're not doing this to create a building lot per se, even though it is a building lot.
It was part of the original form there.
So, and that was one of the reasons the planning commission was, agreeable to the idea of, waiving the road frontage improvements, because there wasn't imminent development proposed on the property. But with that caveat that should there be future development of that lot into multiple properties.
That would be interesting.
Then we would address the road improvements.
That's correct. So we have the review letter from Steve dated January 24th, as well as a BCPC review letter. I don't know if you want to go through them item by item, or if you just want to touch on.
Normally the board just wants you to talk about items that aren't will comply.
I don't know that we have any of those, except for the discussion of the fee in lieu of. So.
Is there, but,
That
do you
we-
think there's anything, Steve, that?
That's what I was just double checking.
Yeah, I was looking, line ones, no issues, twos, no issues, looking at his letter. Three is fine.
Steve, are there any do not comply? or-
No, I don't
I don't
think there
think
is.
so.
And just so you know, the DEP did call me about the planning exemption, and they're gonna issue that.
They are,
She had a question for me, but she's fine with it now.
okay, good. So that was one of his items, is to get the appropriate approval from DEP.
And did you mention that you're purchasing EDUs for both the properties?
That is correct.
So the existing house will be connected and they'll own the connection
There's only one EDU for the 8-acre lot.
What about water? I note here that, like, the current house has an on-site well, but the, Telford Borough line goes in front, so for the other lot, what are you thinking about doing for water?
For the existing house?
No, for the new lot.
Nothing at this point, and we haven't discussed the need for a connection again since it's vacant.
You're not building on the new lot, so you're not proposing anything at this time, but the public water is available.
Correct, and when such
To the
time, the
property,
future
should it-
development, yeah, then
should
they
it
have
be
to get the
reserved?
appropriate connections for
You
the.
reserve the EDUs.
How could they want you to buy that now?
I don't know if we've gotten that far, we've had some initial discussions, but,
Okay.
you know, it's a
And
make
you're
or break
okay with-
situation,
A fee in lieu of for open space?
yes. We determined it wasn't appropriate for this particular individual.
Yeah, there's some other paperwork items, but there wasn't anything that they wouldn't or couldn't comply with.
Correct, yeah, this is mostly plain cleanup notes.
And number 13, if the township is agreeable with the waiver of road improvements, then there's no need for the development agreement and escrow of funds.
Correct, and at this point, there is no public improvements, so.
I don't have,
Development.
I don't have any issues with it, no.
So
No
I,
questions?
No.
Okay.
yeah,
I'm good.
We're good.
So Steve can make a proposal, he's looking for us to do.
do we need to add down the waiver on the fee in lieu of, or is that?
That'll be worked out by the staff?
Yeah,
The cost, price?
we'll discuss that. So at this point, no, you just need to authorize the solicitor to prepare the.
I'll make that
approval.
motion to authorize.
Resolution.
I'll second.
Move to second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very
So
much.
here,
Yes,
we'll,
Al,
next
how
thing
you
we'll be.
doing?
I'm good, hey, man, that's good. So next thing we'll be getting something from you then, or?
Yes,
Okay.
I have your email address.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
good to you before the
Yeah,
meeting.
you know where to find me. Okay, great, thank you.
Or-
Otherwise, although not on the, not specifically listed, I did want to report on two other things. My plan status letter was in the consent agenda. I just wanted to note one thing. Butter Creek Builders, which was noted for a time extension, he had submitted a time extension before tonight's meeting, so he gave another 90-day extension, so that's not an issue. He actually came and met with me, so he's considering his options on how to revise his plan and keep the project moving forward. And the other item would be, we have the Hanson and Hanson lot line adjustment subdivision plan. We have the record plans here, so after the meeting, you could sign the
Yeah,
meeting.
we approve on
Chris, if you want to do that also, that would be a help. They have everything taken care of. I think, Mary, you have the right-of-way documents and all the
That's correct.
paperwork for Hanson, so they're in good shape to go. That's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Okay, entertain a motion for approval of Steve's report.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Move to second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Solicitor's report. Is
I
that,
don't have anything under my report this evening.
you're a pretty good boy, so no trouble.
That's right.
Good. Okay, so we'll have one, we'll approve. Township manager, Mr. Lippincott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First item is the treasurer's report and the bills list. The general fund has $447,749.14. Highway aid, $63,654.32. Open space, $883,571.72. The park fund, $7,286.98. The equipment fund, $221.13, highway capital, $126.84, street light, $31,025.85. The reserve funds, the general fund reserve, $343,636.91. Open space Manderfield, $50,599. Sewage maintenance fund, $170,704.45. Stormwater, $5,427.88, and the escrow funds, $266,201.07. You also have a list of
Okay, anyone have any questions on the treasurer's report?
I have none.
I have none. Okay, now make a motion to approve all subject to audit,
I'll second.
including payment of bills.
I'll second.
Move to second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, thank you.
The next item on the list is the township will have to appoint a new township secretary starting April 1st, 2019. Judy is retiring. So, the board had to make a motion to appoint a new township secretary.
This is for Judy.
Can I make that motion?
Certainly can.
I nominate Greg Lippincott, Township Secretary.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank you.
You're the money man now, so I'm gonna watch you.
The next item is appointment of administrative assistant. I recommend that the board appoints Linda Symes as administrative assistant. She has over 25 years of experience working for a township as a township secretary.
I would make a motion to accept that proposal.
I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Sounds a good one.
Thank you. The next item is Land Development 551 Green Top Management. This is a very old subdivision. There was a road in there that was never named. They suggested, the developer suggested Marshall Lane, and with the board's approval, name the road Marshall Lane. We have a letter in your packet from the Sellersville Post Office saying that Marshall Lane is okay. There's not another one in the Sellersville service area.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Move to second, any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
And the last item is authorization to demo the Ridge Valley property, the former township building. We have an approximate quote of $2,500. We can also fix the ditch work while we do that.
Should also be noted that the ditch work is causing a lot of water buildup on the road, frozen in the winter. It's causing a big problem there. And really, the cost to repair that was
A lot more. To replace the pipe, which the township doesn't like to do, we like to put in those
Trench gate.
trench
Yeah.
grates.
Yeah.
That would cost $25,000 for that whole length.
Yeah. So we're talking about $25,000, probably plus a new roof for the building. So we're probably getting up to $35,000.
Plus a PennDOT permit to do the trench gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Compared to $2,500 just to demolish the building and move the equipment to
And
another.
make Ridge Valley Road a little.
And you have the, you also have the zoning issue.
Well, yeah, if you ever went to sell it, you would have to, it would be a non-conforming use in a residential area.
Jim, did you say you made the motion?
I will make a motion.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and second, any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
All right.
Aye. No? So be it.
That's all I have.
Okay, old business,
I have one thing,
okay?
and that is the ditches on the state roads, the state-owned highways, that we've discussed numerous times. Frank brought up an issue, there was an accident or something on his road, but I noticed driving around that there were several areas on Allentown Road where there's debris in the ditch, restricting the water flow. It's very obvious on Ridge Valley Road. Is there a possibility that we could send a letter, another letter? Or get a plan? Can we have a plan of,
I've been writing
yes,
every 6 months to do Ridge Valley Road in the S-turns. That's never been done. I've been writing for the last 4 years for County Line Road to be done at, what is the ladies, that right off of,
Yes,
Uh,
right.
I forget her name, but I've written about
The
that.
only house
You talking
on
about
County
this
Line
one?
Road.
Yeah, it's the only house on County Line Road that's by the quarry. I've written
Her
about
name's
that.
Marge, I forget her last name. but
Marge Fitzgerald.
Yep.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I've written for the last 4 years to PennDOT.
can we also, ask for a plan regarding, Cat Hill,
Okay.
okay?
I can, Allentown, Ridge Valley,
Cat
County
Hill.
Line,
Cat Hill.
okay.
Thank you.
Somebody told me there's a pothole on the road, it goes past Highland Park, extension of, State Road. Right by Chevrolet deal.
Okay. If it's before the S-turn, it's us. If it's after the S, the first bend, it's Hilton.
I think it's before.
Okay.
Anything else, Greg?
No, I don't have anything else from, new business,
Old business.
or old business, I'm sorry.
I just want to mention something. I haven't seen Chad Davis here in a long time. So I just want to say that last year when we did our bocce ball court at the pool, Chad came over and spent a whole day with me, helping me figure out how to put that thing in, and really, thanks, Chad. I haven't seen you here to publicly thank you before, so.
Not a problem.
But Chad
It was
actually.
my pleasure to work with you, Jim.
Yeah, Chad actually took me up into the Davis feed and figured out a mix that we could use to have a really nice bocce ball court. It's worked out really well, so thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay,
Okay,
have any new business?
I have none.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, no, I don't.
Okay. Public comment, any questions? Yes, Frank?
Frank Schemendar, 1030 Allentown Road. Jim, there was some type of agreement that Allentown Road is not going to allow trucks over 45 feet, is that right?
Correct. I don't know if PennDOT got their signs up yet, but,
Okay, my question is, how's that going to be monitored? Because most of the tractor trailers today are 53 feet.
right, I don't know. That, PennDOT made that decision and sent us a letter, so we can, I guess we can look into that and ask them how they're gonna monitor it. They were gonna put signs up at, Ridge Road and then all the way up where it ends north. I guess that's up near Lehigh somewhere. They never said how they were gonna monitor it. They were just gonna put up the signs that said they would not allow trucks over 45
And
feet.
what would, Chief, what would that be, police, state troopers, or you guys?
Yeah, Chief Blake saw that letter too. Yeah. So I don't have an answer for you on that, Frank, but we can look into it. Can ask the question.
Outside of pains like me reporting them,
Well, that's how things get done, right?
okay.
Oh, I can back you up too, I haven't seen them too. Great.
I don't think they've put their signs up yet, so.
No,
I didn't
they're
see it
not.
when I was up there.
Yeah, so, well, I'll take a note.
And maybe you could assist, we can help follow up on that.
I think there should be another sign, if anything, at the twin churches.
Yeah, there should be
No,
several
yeah.
signs along the road there, yeah. It's a long stretch. Thank you, Frank.
one on my property too, I got 3 now.
Paul Reisner, 1402 Lawn Avenue. Just an update on the open space cornfield flooding that I'm having. The last storm they had, the big one, they rushed down and cut the pipe for me. That's caused more of a problem. There's a huge crack on the road now because it's going over top of the pipe. I wanted to get to this meeting and get out early before the growing season starts and plead with you gentlemen not to let them plant that corn again. Every time they plant corn, it's like alleys of water coming right across the street on my property, you know, and turn that open space into grassy land if you want open space, but to put a product on there like that corn, it's not working. It's just shoving all the mud, and he's done it for 5 years in a row. He's done it. He's put corn in, the farmer. You know, you guys are gonna have to step in. That's the only way we're gonna cure it, and we need a bigger buffer. I mean, they tried the little buffer, that didn't work, and now they tried this pipe, that didn't work. All I'm saying is, please don't let them plant corn again. I'm tired of getting muddy driveways. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Look into, get something done. It's been a problem for many years. Any other comments? Yes?
Vera Cole, 2045 Upper Rockydale Road. I wanted to just to revisit the compressor station situation again and see if there had been any more meetings with that group that you have, that you work with in Adelphia.
For those who might know, we have, in addition to what we've done with Township, there's a group of 5 or 6 people who joined together and formed a concerned citizens group. And we've been having communications, written and verbal, meetings with people representing Adelphia. And I can honestly say at this point in time, we've gotten nowhere with them, because the people that meet with us don't know anything about it. And they refuse to answer anything concerning what's what, because we've been trying to get a plan since back in early December. The bottom line is, we learned that they don't own anything yet. They just have set up a skeleton company. And the other people we've been meeting with, the latest meeting we had, which was February 21st, there were 11 or 12 people from the executive level, supposedly. None of them knew anything about compressor stations. They never owned one, never built one, never operated one. They brought in what I call a hired gun, which was a fellow, young man who worked in not only developing, but building these and operating these stations. And he really, he said he'd done 9 stations, and he couldn't tell us where one of them was. Everybody was in their Fifth Avenue, New York suits, and he was wearing his jeans and cowboy boots. So my guess is he works in pipeline. He knew a lot about the terminology, but no answers. We gave him about 10, 12 new answers, and we've not heard back from him yet. Typically, the experience we've had is when we could write a letter to FERC and complain about it, FERC would get after him and come and meet with us, but never gaining anything. And so FERC closed things down on March 1st, and we filed a letter there at that time complaining about what we were just going through. So we haven't heard back from FERC yet, and the chances are we're going to hear back from them, but we were quite brutal in our discussion, our comments on it. We're now working on finding out who's really going to design work and who's going to build it. The thing that's crazy about it, they don't know any of that, they don't have plans, and they're already ordering equipment. So they told us. So that's pretty much where it is, and everybody should get pen and pencil and write to FERC. If we don't have a website FERC can make available, who the person is, top of FERC to write to. They're not officially accepting any more letters after March 1st, but I think if they get letters, they'll start getting some action. I've been trying to work with Craig Stats, the committee had, Craig Stats and Fitzpatrick, and I've had some very heated discussions with Fitzpatrick's office. He's promised to come to a couple of meetings and never showed up. Craig Stats did the same thing, and I think they don't wanna get involved. They wrote a letter that said they don't want it in that location. That's all they've ever done. And that's not very adequate in what we're faced, because it's not just gonna be West Rockhill that's gonna be impacted if anything ever happens. Because when it happens, it could take out the whole community. And so it's a serious issue.
So a couple of follow-up questions, thank you for that
Mhm.
detail. Are the letters letters that are written to FERC after the March 1st deadline, are they available on the docket, or are they publicly posted somewhere?
Those letters were written all before on the 1st of March, the last.
I didn't see them on the
But,
docket. They're not, there might be a slight delay in posting them,
But they should be available on that
Yeah.
docket. And so, and you are encouraging us to write, even though they stopped accepting comments on March 1st? To
I'm sorry,
continue to
well,
write
they
first?
stopped accepting comments on the
The
EA on March 1st.
Right,
I think they're always
Okay.
have to accept comments on the project in general.
thanks for that
Yeah, yeah.
clarification. And then the final question, in your discussions with them, has there been any serious consideration about why they selected the Quakertown site instead of the Salford site? That seems to be such a weak spot in the EA. The argument there seems so weak, and I don't understand it.
Well, from the pipeline standpoint, it's kind of an ideal spot. It's not big enough, in our view. It's not as big as, most of the other ones are 10 to 20 acres, or even larger. This is an acre and a half. One of the reasons, I believe, for they're doing to do it, they own the property, and secondly, it's closer to the intersection of the pipelines, or their pipelines going east and west, and now this will be going north and south. And the proximity of that to those lines, I would think, makes their connection easier. So that's probably the reality of operational reality.
Right, I can see that. That's, of course, not part of their written argument about, it's supposed to be the one with the least environmental impact. And the Salford site seems so much better suited
Yeah.
than the Quakertown site. I mean, the Quakertown site doesn't even meet the minimum operational requirements as for
They're putting their
Salford.
staging area in the wetland, on the wetlands, whatever you want to say.
In the
Salford,
wetland,
and Salford, Salford clearly meets expectations for a site. And it's within the optimal pressure range, everything about it is right. And they really just skirt the edges of it. You can tell there's an ulterior motive. They've already pre-selected this Quakertown site, and it's probably for the reason you just cited. But it's not supported in the EA at all,
No.
in the arguments they give or the data they show. And I just was curious if that had come up in any more detail or anywhere in your interactions with them.
Well, even before the EA, it's something that, Don's group, and when the staff would meet with them, we'd raise at every meeting, why here? It
Right.
doesn't make sense here, why here? And their argument was because it's the confluence of two pipelines, and so that's the logical place to adjust the pressure, and that, if I don't sound clear in explaining it to you, it's because I'm telling you what they said to us.
But,
And it wasn't a satisfactory explanation then, so when I repeat it, it's still not gonna be satisfactory.
and I'm not sure it's a legal explanation, actually, in terms of how they're supposed to make this decision and how they're supposed to evaluate and select alternative sites. That's not one of the criteria for doing it.
No,
It's supposed to be the minimum environmental impact.
certainly, it's not even close.
Right. Right.
Bottom line, the people in Philadelphia don't know anything about pipelines or gas compressor stations. They don't know. And there are a bunch of, pardon my term, figureheads that have no experience. One guy has experience. He's a former New Jersey police officer, and they've hired him as the security. And the question I have is security, what do they need security for? They're not gonna have anybody manning that station. It's all remote control. So why would there be a need for a security officer for that station? So the pieces of the puzzle don't fit together.
They don't.
And they obviously don't know because they're not doing it.
Yeah.
And that's a real issue. It's been a very frustrating session. We asked for drawings, plans back in December 17th. They said they weren't ready. We'll have them probably early, mid-January. We'll make them available to you. well, I think it was, what, early January, that, Bucks County Conservation sent the plans to Greg.
They,
And they'd already, and the plans were dated December 14th. So,
this is not
just
the.
give you an idea what we're dealing with. And we have some very qualified, good people on that committee, and, both technically and other aspects of it, so, we gotta try to get to the right person, and FERC is a roadblock now. Because that's what they're using, their excuse, because they always have the ability to come in and use eminent domain card, so, I urge you to all, write to them, complain, anything you want to say, so them know there's more than just a small group, group push. There's Greg and Steve and Mary and the group put together an excellent response. And we had one from this group of, some were not as long, but similar, because they covered a number of items that we were covering, so. And then what we put in March 1st was actually a major complaint letter. So I don't know how they're gonna deal with that. But I don't think they necessarily want that to go public. We don't care, but. So,
Cliff Cole, Shoecraft
Yes, sir.
Road. That being the case, everything that you said, it's very disappointing to me, because I've been coming to all the meetings for the last bunch of meetings. It's very disappointing to me that this topic only comes up during public comment. Is there a possible way to get this onto the agenda until this problem goes away, so we get a report of what's being done,
Yeah.
who you're meeting with? And another question is there any reason why you aren't also trying to get a hold of Casey's office? I mean, you mentioned Fitzpatrick and Stats. Stats is a state representative. Fitzpatrick, you know, is the, but there's also Casey. And
people have tried to contact Casey and they don't get any response on this.
I've had the same problem.
Yeah, so,
The township's also reached out to Governor Wolf.
Okay. Well, and I think it's, if you've invited Fitzpatrick to the meeting and he hasn't come, I think that you should be holding him to task for that.
well, I just reminded him that he needs to remember who pays his salary. And we're very unhappy.
I completely agree. But can you please add this as a topic of discussion so we don't have to wait for, I'm limited to 3 minutes or whatever it is, or whatever. This is like one of the most important things that's happened to this township. It's an environmental disaster, potential environmental disaster. And it affects many people in West Rockhill and also in Richland Town,
You
so.
know, I think my view is at that location, it affects East Rockhill, Percy, Sellersville, West
Quakertown.
Rockhill.
I'm sorry, sir, I missed your name.
Richland.
Cliff Cole, Shoecraft Road. I've
So
commented before.
It's a major issue, and the serious frustration is you can't get anybody who wants to talk to you.
Well, this is the way that oil companies operate.
I understand that the letters that the township submits to FERC are available on the FERC docket, and they're also available to residents if we were to do a right-to-know request. Is there a reason that we can't also post that correspondence on our website? You've got some other great resources up there at Adelphia. It may help people who are new to this topic understand better the issues. Your letters are terrific, the ones that I've read, that've been filed in part of the township. And it would really help residents in this township, I think, if we could see the steps you have taken.
I
And-
can post Mary's letter, or do you want to post all the documents, which becomes overwhelming?
Certainly your document, you represented this board, and why wouldn't that be up on our
Oh,
website?
we can put it up on the website.
It's a very well-written,
I think you should, because we all put a lot
Do you
of
have
effort
any
in
issues
that.
with it, Mary?
Oh,
Council
no, but I agree with what Greg's saying, like, that maybe the things that we generate, can go on the website. I know, it's getting to the point where it's hard to find things in my electronic filing with really good organization because of the volume. I don't wanna like bury it, the needle in the haystack, put the important documents up there.
Which would be the letter.
Right.
Well, and there's other things that may
Yeah, the
be
report to be
important,
filed.
yeah,
Right.
but
I will say that, the last I checked, I think there've been 457 letters written to FERC by people from the
Right.
community. So we need that to be like not 5,000, 2,000, which would represent all the adults in it. So,
That'd be great, that should be our goal, every single person in the township.
Two.
But it helps people write letters if they see your letters, what you've written, to state the issue.
Tony,
Tony, Clymer Avenue.
stand up, so I can hear you better.
Should I ask the question, I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but could I ask the chief in regards to Adelphia? There was a supposed meeting with Penridge Police, the fire companies. And can I ask if that meeting was for emergency management or was it for security of the pipeline? There was,
The fire companies, myself, and Don met with Adelphia about emergency management
Yeah.
back in December 17th.
okay, because there was an email that I believe I saw that was in regards to Penridge Regional, or the police department, that's why I was asking. It might have been, I might have been wrong, I'm sorry, it might have been, no, it would have been Penridge, I guess. Okay, that answers that.
Anyone else have a question? I knew you don't like to comment.
You never really did answer my question as to whether you would make this a permanent item out of the agenda until,
I thought he said yes.
oh, I thought
He
you said
did
yes.
say yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I wrote
it down.
my apologies, my apologies.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Marilyn Vogel, Finland Road. Has
Could you
Berkshire,
stand up, please? So I can hear
has
you.
Adelphia said why they would not do an environmental impact statement?
They didn't say why they wouldn't do an environmental impact statement, but an environmental impact statement is enormously more expensive than an environmental assessment. So I think we all know why they don't want to do an environmental impact statement. The goal is to try and get FERC to mandate that they do an environmental impact statement.
Have they responded to the need for an impact statement?
Well, it's been written,
You know,
How many times?
I haven't seen any response from
I
them.
haven't seen it.
those went to FERC. I mean, it's a waste of time to write to Adelphia. They don't know what you're talking about anyway.
That, they haven't said they're not gonna do it then, right? Have
Well, they
refused?
did an environmental assessment. So I don't know how to say more clearly that they're not gonna voluntarily do it than to simply do something other than that.
The confer, mandate it if they wanted.
Yes, they can.
And have they commented on it at all?